Welcome to Lord of Limbo, where the unknown gets a voice. Today, we bring you real accounts that defy logic and test the limits of fear. Stories of ordinary people who experience terrifying and inexplicable events. Whether at work, at home, on the road, or on a simple walk, the unexpected can arise when least expected. Get ready to dive into another chilling episode. And remember, not everything can be explained. My name is Benson, and for the past 5 years, I've worked as a night security guard at a large shopping mall. It's not the kind of job that sees a lot of action. Most nights, it's just me, a couple of other guards, and the endless maze of dimly lit hallways, shuttered storefronts, and the distant hum of vending machines. There's something about a mall at night that feels unnatural. It's meant to be full of people, bright lights, and noise. But when you strip all that away, it becomes something else entirely, hollow, eerie, like a forgotten place where time doesn't quite move the same way. You hear things that don't make sense, like footsteps when you know no one is there, or the sound of doors opening and closing even though all of them are locked. One night last winter, I was doing my usual patrol. The mall was massive, with 3 floors, a food court, and an underground service tunnel that led to loading docks. It was around 2 a.m. when I was making my way through the upper-level walkways, overlooking the darkened stores below. My radio crackled, and my partner, Ray, spoke up. "Benson, you see that?" I frowned. "See what?" "I swear, I saw someone near the old toy store. Looked like they were just standing there. That store had been empty for months. The lease was up, and no one had taken the spot yet." I turned toward it, scanning the dark corridor leading to the shop. "Nothing. Probably a reflection or something," I said, but I kept walking toward it anyway. The closer I got, the more I felt something wasn't right. The store's glass front was slightly reflective, and for a second, I thought maybe Ray was right. Maybe he had just seen my own silhouette moving. But then I stopped. The reflection in the glass wasn't me. It was standing just inside the store, something tall, barely visible in the dim light. It had the shape of a person, but elongated, its arms too long, its head slightly tilted like it was listening for something. I blinked, and it was gone. I stepped back, my pulse pounding. I pressed my radio. "Ray, I think I saw it too." Silence. Then, static. A long burst of white noise before Ray finally answered, his voice tight. "Get back to the security office. Now." I didn't argue. As I turned to walk away, I felt something behind me, the distinct pressure of being watched. I didn't look back. I didn't want to know if whatever was in that store had stepped closer. By the time I reached the security office, Ray was already reviewing the camera footage. He pointed at one of the monitors, his face pale. The camera facing the toy store showed me standing there, looking at the glass. But in the footage, the reflection wasn't just a shadow. It was clear, too clear. A tall, thin figure, standing behind the glass, its face featureless except for 2 dark pits where its eyes should have been. And then, as I turned to leave, it moved. Not just inside the store. It moved in the reflection, but there was no one there in real life. I don't know what I saw that night, and I don't think I want to. The footage was erased the next morning as part of the system's automatic reset, but I still remember it perfectly. I still work at the mall, but I don't go near that part of the building anymore. And when I walk past reflective surfaces at night, I don't look too closely. Because sometimes, I think whatever I saw that night is still watching me. Story 2. My name is Kevin, and I've been working as a security guard at a shopping mall for almost 5 years. Most nights are uneventful, just the usual rounds, checking for any signs of break-ins or loiterers. But one night, about a year ago, I experienced something I still can't explain. The shift started as usual. I grabbed my flashlight and radio and began my patrol through the dimly lit hallways of the closed mall. The air was stale, and the only sounds were the hum of vending machines and the occasional creak of the old building settling. The shopping mall wasn't particularly large, but it had multiple floors, and at night, the emptiness made it feel much bigger than it actually was. Around 2 a.m., I reached the food court. Everything was in order, tables neatly arranged, chairs stacked where they were supposed to be. I made my way past the restaurants when I heard a sound. It was faint, almost like whispering, coming from the hallway leading to the restrooms. I stopped and listened carefully, thinking it might be a homeless person who had snuck in. I called out, "Mall security, anyone here?" No response. I took a step forward, and suddenly, the automatic paper towel dispenser inside the men's restroom activated. I stood there frozen, staring at the doorway. The restroom lights were motion activated, but they remained off, meaning whatever triggered the dispenser wasn't physically inside. My skin crawled. I shined my flashlight into the restroom. The stalls were all open, completely empty. I even checked the ceiling vents, but there was nothing. Trying to shake off the unease, I turned back toward the food court, but then I heard something behind me. It was footsteps. Not just footsteps, running. I turned around instantly, my flashlight cutting through the darkness. Nothing. But the sound had been so clear, as if someone had sprinted right past me. The air felt heavier, like I had stepped into a place I wasn't supposed to be. My radio crackled, and I nearly jumped out of my skin. It was my colleague, Rick, who was stationed at the security office monitoring the cameras. His voice came through, sounding oddly tense. "Kevin, are you in the west hallway?" I pressed the radio button. "Yeah, near the food court." "Why?" There was a long pause before he responded. "I just saw something on the cameras. Something, was standing behind you." Every hair on my body stood up. "What do you mean?" "Who?" "I don't know. It was only there for a second. Looked like a tall figure, but the feed glitched, and when it came back, it was gone." I turned in slow circles, scanning every corner, but I was completely alone. The silence was suffocating. I forced myself to move and walked briskly back toward the main lobby, heart pounding the entire time. Rick met me there, his face pale. We both checked the footage together, rewinding to the exact moment he had seen the figure. The screen showed me standing near the restroom entrance, shining my flashlight inside. And then, for a split second, a shadowy figure appeared right behind me, tall, elongated, almost humanoid, but not quite. The moment I turned around, it vanished. Rick and I didn't say much after that. We both agreed to finish the shift without splitting up. I never saw anything like it again, but I've avoided that hallway during my night shifts ever since. I don't know what it was, but I know one thing for sure: some things inside that mall don't belong in this world. If you've made it this far, thank you for following another episode of Lord of Limbo. What would you do if you went through something like this? Have you ever had a terrifying experience? Leave it in the comments, because the unknown might be closer than we think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more dark stories. We'll see you in the next video, if you're still here.